Hello and welcome to my video on how to bathe a samoyed. This is my samoyed or samoyed, however you choose to pronounce it. And he is 5 years old and he is pretty dirty. So let's go ahead and put him in the bath. And I have this dog shower wand. It's called a water pick, not like your tooth water pick, but for dogs. And it has this really cool functionality where it goes all over their body, like you can see here, but it has a function where you can put half of it on, and you can also twist it to just turn it off so you're not constantly turning on and off your shower head. So it just attached to my normal shower head. Took maybe a little bit of a wrench, but it was pretty easy to install. So right now I'm just bathing Theo in some lukewarm water. I allow him to test it first. This is the shampoo that I use. It's a brightening shampoo. You don't have to specifically use this brand, but I find that just a brightening or soft, gentle whitening, obviously without harsh chemicals, from a reputable brand is good. I give him a lot of shampoo because he's got a lot of fur, and you have to make sure that you wet your dog enough first before you apply it. So here he's almost a little dry because despite 10 minutes of bathing him, his coat has a very oily texture to it, so it tends to repel water, as with other samoyeds and double-coated dogs. So you really have to work in the shampoo, and I find adding a little bit of water even after you've applied it, pause, zhuzh the soap into their fur really works well to get maximum lathering. So here you can see I just add a little bit of water. I'm not rinsing it out right away. I'm just adding a little bit of water to make sure it gets really sudsy. Putting a little bit of that sud on his face, avoiding the eyes. He's not the biggest fan of his head being touched, but you can really see how much smaller he is under all that fur. So now I'm going ahead and just rinsing out all of that sud. And you can tell this wand is really good for just kind of stroking downwards. You don't need to make sure you're rapidly washing it through. You just kind of use the wand in a straight line, and it tends to get all the suds out. So now I'm applying some conditioner. This is Burt's Bees conditioner. I've used better conditioners. This was the only thing that I had available at the pet store locally. So you can use another brightening one, but I find for samoyeds, their coat tends to get a little bit rough more around the things that are rubbing. So the thighs, the elbows, the tail, the butt area generally, the areas that they're pet, like the one that you see here. Everyone goes in to pet Theo just like this. So those areas need a little bit more softening and conditioning so that they don't get matted in the first place. So conditioner is an integral part of bathing a samoyed and making sure that you're preventing any matting from happening. Good boy. And I've always bathed Theo myself, so he's very accustomed to bathing. So don't worry if your dog freaks out bathing or you're nervous about it and you just want to get it done at a groomer. That's fine. It's also a really great way to bond with your dog and to kind of know that you can do that maintenance yourself as well, and A lot of people think it's just so overwhelming, but you can do it. Um, yeah, so I let him go out of the bath here, put a towel down, and I throw him outside and make him do all the shaking out there. So here you can see he is running to the balcony, even though it's a little bit rainy outside. Shaking off all that water is very good before you go into blow dry. It'll save you a lot of time. If you just go straight into the blow dry, you're going to be wasting a lot of time on what they could have shaken off themselves. Good boy. Shake. Good boy. Good boy. Okay, shake. Theo, shake. Shake. Okay, you can come back in. So now that he is shaken off a lot of what would have come off in the dryer, I bring him back to the bathroom to finish off and blow dry. So he doesn't really want to go back into the bathroom, but generally it's a pretty positive experience, and he doesn't really like being wet either, so he'd rather dry off with my assistance. If you're doing this at first, make sure you have lots and lots of treats and snacks, things to distract them, make it a positive experience. Some people have a lick mat that you can just buy on Amazon or other pet stores, and you can put some peanut butter. If your dog's allergic to peanut butter, I've seen Cheese Whiz used at our vet. It can come in a can as well. And yeah, just generally anything to make it positive if they don't like it. So Theo just lies down for the blow dryer. He really enjoys the rest of his body being dried, anything but his face and ears. So generally at the beginning I start just with the butt that holds a lot of water and work my way up. You can kind of tell. I go into his ears, I get a little sneaky blow dry in, and he says, "No, Mom, stick to the butt," and falls back asleep. So you kind of eventually get his ears and face dry, but not without him protesting. So at the beginning, I go in just with the wet fur, and I make sure that I get all of his fur dry down to the skin. So this is really important because samoyeds can develop hot spots if they have wet fur that stays at their skin. So unlike, let's say, a golden retriever, double-coated dogs tend to hold a lot of water on that skin layer, and as with all still water, it can get infected and just not really good for the skin. So make sure you get right down to that fur. You should be able to see the skin with the blow dryer, with a high velocity blow dryer at least. I just got this one on Amazon. It was about $150. And I've seen some people use like a vinegar water spray to speed up the drying. I don't use that because it just doesn't take that much time for me, but maybe in the future I'll try it. If anyone has any suggestions or has used a vinegar water spray and has seen it really speed up the drying, let me know in the comments. Yeah, so this is kind of a soothing experience for him. He's just snoozing, maybe just exhausted from being bathed and the walk that we went on before, which is also really helpful to get your dog to be better at bathing. If you start them tired, they have less energy to be stressed about it as well. Just generally happier. Yeah, so you can see we're getting right down to the skin layer here. It's a little bit clumpy at the skin layer, so I find with a slicker brush, You can also use it to break up all of that fur as you're blow drying, especially if you have a lot of undercoat to get out. So Theo didn't have too much undercoat. It generally just comes off. So this is the part that he likes the least. So I try to blow toward the back of that ear rather than the front. You can also use a happy hoodie, which just covers their ears entirely, covers the sound of the blow dryer a little. Um, I never did use that on Theo, and he's just gotten used to it as a puppy. So yeah, I find just blow drying his ears even, he's better with that. Now here I'm just going through his nails. Dogs can also, at least Theo, can develop a little bit of bacteria between the nails, and you might not have seen it during the bathing process, so I'm just checking his nails to see at the nail bed what's going on there. So just a little final touches, get his poofing all nice, his chest fur. He kind of looks like, I'm done, Mom. Please let me out. So of course he's done now, and we are now out on the balcony, and so much time has passed that it is now sunny and the balcony is dry. So he's a little happy dog, being all clean. Get a little play in. And here he is, just beautiful, shining in the sun. Samoyeds have a silver tips on the end of their fur to both be repellent. Well, the silver tips are more reflective of the sun, so that's why you should never shave a Samoyed at all. Um, their fur is reflective of the sun, and that's what keeps them cool in the summer, and what insulates them in the winter, having that really thick coat that they then shed for spring and summer. And here we are on a lovely walk that I promised him, and look at that booty just in the wind. Gorgeous. Okay, well, happy grooming. Bye.